So based on popular demand of my viral TikTok videos, here I am on YouTube bringing you guys the value that you deserve. There's so much of the world struggling right now to the point where I decided to start making content on TikTok to help inspire people to be the greatest version of themselves. Ultimately, tap into some of these skills, psychological tactics, and wisdom to empower self because with everything going on in the world, with so much conflict, with so much scarcity mentality, fear, programming, people need help, and that's where you come in. You come in as a solution to helping people, inspire people to start to lift everyone up because it takes each and every one of us, and there's so much abundance in this world that there's so much abundance for you. It's all connected, and we're all here to help each other. We're social creatures as human beings, and each and every one of us have a role to play because your story is what was needed for you to blossom into the flower that you were born to be. So this is like my introduction to my YouTube channel, so I'm just getting this out there. My name is Andreas, also known as Dreas Talks. Dreas is my nickname, short for Andreas, as you know. But Dreas Talks is kind of the brand I am going with because I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be using my voice to inspire you, to bring the best out of you, and dive in to interesting topics, interesting findings, studies, research, and overall just tips to help you grow in your life and to become the best version of you through gaining wisdom. The most powerful resource and asset you have is your mind, right? And I also made a video on the relationship between mind and heart on my TikTok and finding purpose. But most importantly, it's your ability to critically think, use your mind that will empower you to move forward, analyze your life, push the spectrum, and shave the edges of your sculpture to be fine-tuned and improved every day. That is your life, right? And that's what critical thinking is. Just to keep it even simpler, it's your life is the sword. By critically thinking, you're able to sculpt and sharpen your blade of your life, becoming more effective, being more productive, serving your purpose more effectively, right? So my name is Andreas again. I hope that was a good intro. Today, I'm going to be talking more so about money because most people are struggling with one thing and one thing only. I guarantee you, if I'm talking to 90% of you, I'd say most of your life is pretty good, but you're living under someone else's premise. You're following someone else's dream just to make a buck, just to keep up with the increased costs, increased inflation. The Federal Reserve continues to print more money. It continues to cause higher costs of living, making it harder for people, your everyday, just hardworking individual, to keep up with the times. And this video is going to teach you so much about sales and marketing that you will essentially be ready to start your own business, brand, whatever you want to build, and start winning people over through marketing and sales. Because ultimately, there's two things that we need to focus on. We need to focus on building a good product, a good service, which may or may not be you, or it could be something you create, whatever it may be. You make sure that is good. And number two, have strong marketing and sales so that people will know about you. Because if nobody knows, then there's nothing that will flow. So, and what I mean by that is if no one knows about you, no one trusts you, then there's no income that will be generated. There's no actual business that will be had. So my background, I've actually been running and operating my own business, doing marketing, sales, consulting, video development, social media content, lead generation marketing for about 5 years before now venturing more so in self-help and recently going viral on TikTok, applying these same strategies because ultimately it's what works and it has to deal with human psychology. So I'm going to go into a study done by a gentleman named Paul Zak who shows kind of where are we looking at in terms of getting people to take their hand in their pockets and start to invest in you or donate into you or make a purchasing decision that helps support your mission and your cause. And I'm going to teach you how you can do this using that as an example and then tying it all into my favorite real life example of the GOAT, Steve Jobs, who implemented this with Apple and made all this really come to fruition for his company, right? So let's get into it. So first and foremost, what is it that will allow you to get more people to come to you, trust you, and drive more sales for your business? And it has to deal with storytelling and pain point marketing. So this is just one avenue of the pie of marketing and sales, right? There's so many different areas to dissect, and I'm going to continue making more videos on different topics within the specific category of sales and marketing. But most importantly, this is a powerful one, because if you're able to identify pain points of your target audience, you're essentially able to relate to them. And if you're going to get someone to buy anything from you, you're trying to establish one thing and one thing only, and that is trust. If you can't get someone to trust you, why would they ever pay you any type of money or invest in you in any certain type of way? You have to develop trust, and you do that by relating to your audience. So there's a study by Paul Zak, two studies I'm going to cross-reference on this video, and one is called the neuroscience narrative, and the other one's called empathy, neurochemistry, and the dramatic arc. And basically what these have to deal with is storytelling, and how people that are taking on a story he calls the dramatic arc are more likely inclined to be invested in whatever it is that you're doing. So storytelling, but more importantly, what they studied in this is they took storytelling and they had two different videos basically telling a similar story about a father and a son dealing with this brain cancer, and kind of this emotional draw-in of a story, right, which induced pain and kind of this feeling of discomfort and stress and emotion and empathy. And what they were looking for were two things: oxytocin levels and cortisol levels. Oxytocin deals with empathy and ultimately the social connectivity, bonding, and building that trust and that engagement and like that social connection that is involved in kind of like putting your heart into something, right? Like that empathy, like you feel for something. That's oxytocin. And then cortisol, on the other hand, deals with stress levels, and ultimately if your stress is higher, you're more likely to be more attentive. Your attention goes up. Like think about nature, right? If you're under attack by an animal, it's going to cause some stress, but it's there for a reason, because of that stress you increase cortisol levels. You're going to be more dialed in on what it is in front of you. You're going to be more focused because it's a survival mechanism for you to increase your levels of cortisol so you can increase your chances of survival, etc. And then obviously dopamine, right? Like reward and pleasure is another big part of this pie. But for this video, we're going to be focusing more on oxytocin and cortisol. So basically what they found is they had one video that induced higher levels of emotional distress than the other one, and the one with the higher levels of emotional distress had, I believe, like 80% of those, like higher of those people were likely to donate. They actually donated to the cause. They felt inspired to actually take action. So basically the findings of this study is that emotional storytelling, targeting something that connects to people on the kind of like this painful emotional level, increased levels of oxytocin, which then led to them making a purchasing decision or a behavior of action. And that's very, like me just paraphrasing this study. If you guys really want to go into it, I inspire you to go into it. His name is Paul Zak, and you can kind of go in and see for yourself. But ultimately, that was the findings, is that higher levels of oxytocin lead to higher levels of action, and then higher levels of cortisol lead to more attention, more of like focus invested into whatever it is that you're doing and telling through your story. And both are equally as important, because cortisol will get you very invested with your attention, and then oxytocin will kind of build that relatability, that trust, that empathy, that feel like, wow, you know, I feel called to do something. I feel inspired to do something after watching this, which is like, go ahead and comment your thoughts below if you've ever seen a movie, an advertisement, or anything that moved you emotionally to the point where you felt inspired, even if it wasn't to take a purchasing decision. You felt inspired to take an action or to do something different for your life in one way or another. And just by them succeeding in that, it doesn't necessarily have to be a purchasing decision, but just being able to trigger someone more on an emotional level, you instantly become more memorable. And by being more memorable, you are building a brand that has more longevity, more promise, and more just relatability, because people are going to be able to remember you more through the emotional response that you're able to deliver through rising those levels of oxytocin. I know I'm sounding like I'm a crazy scientist, but here I am. I've just been doing this for a while. I like to study what is actually going on here, and so that I can help you guys have a better feeling picture of the bigger picture, so you can start driving in more sales. Because I don't know about you, but not for me personally, not having the clock in or clock out for the past few years, I've been able to travel the world. I've been able to be free to the point now where I've kind of done all that, and I want to just give back and help people and expand my impact. And that's why I'm here doing this for you guys, because this isn't about me. This is about empowering you, which is why I'm presenting this information, which gets into my solutions for you guys about how to really get people to trust you, to win your audience over, your target audience, to win your customers over. And number one, in doing that, you have to put your customer first. It is not about you, all right? When I was first starting on my journey of marketing and sales and business, I thought that I was the guy to make me look cool so that people want to work with me. But that is the furthest thing from the truth. Jeff Bezos said it best early on in his days with Amazon, is it's always about the customer, the customer, the customer, the customer. Put the customer first, and then they will put you first, right? So ultimately, what it is that you need to do when you're marketing is really focus on your customer, number one. And number two, taking that to the next level, is what are your customer pain points? This ties into this entire study that we did regarding building those higher levels of oxytocin so that people build the empathy and trust. It's by pain point marketing. Not only are you focusing on your customer first, now you're saying, what is it that my customer is suffering with that I can present a solution for? What are the problems that my customer is experiencing in this moment in time in history? What is it that is dragging people through the mud that my business and my target audience, that I can relate to and drive in value with, right? Because value is the solution to the pain, right? Your value is the solution to the pain. And just to kind of give you an example with this video, I started off discussing about money because that's a huge pain point for so many people, so that now I can get your attention invested in this message to inspire you to take action and ultimately have the wisdom. The knowledge is power, and having that wisdom to go and implement these solutions to hopefully get you to come back and relate with me and what I'm doing with my work here, right? Maybe get you to subscribe or take an action that was helping me grow as well and supporting my mission as a human being on earth, because we all have a mission, and these are just tactics that you can use to accomplish your mission, but not just doing it selfishly, like doing it for your customer. Provide for your customer first. That's number one. Number two, focus on your customer's pain points. And then last but not least, number three, make your customer the hero. Make it about their hero's journey. You may have heard of the Iliad. I hope you have, by Homer, with Odyssey. The Odyssey and Odysseus, right? And the hero's journey. That's kind of the origin of this whole idea of like the hero's journey, the hero's archetype. And look at your business as not you are the hero. It's your customer is the hero. Your audience are the heroes. You're just the jetpack that you're putting on their back to take them where they need to go on their hero's journey. That's how you need to look at everything you're doing with the marketing approach. And it's by establishing those pain points and delivering value, but then you prioritizing them as the hero on their journey. Now you're in a position to become memorable. Now you're in a position to win. You're in a position to crush it and separate yourself from any other person that's just waving their hands and making it about me and all that, right? And you can do it, right? Like, we've seen people who like just give you kind of like the attention marketing with the Lamborghinis, with all this, but like, that's cool and all, but what's real is that self-empowerment and inspiration that your brand is able to create by prioritizing your customer as the hero on the hero's journey, their own hero's journey. And you're just playing a role in providing a valuable service or product that supports their hero's journey. So that is the third tip that I want you guys to tap into about how to ultimately win over an audience with pain point marketing and storytelling. And to end this video, I'm going to give an example, my favorite example about Steve Jobs, who I believe is the greatest, one of the greats in terms of, if not the greatest of all time, in terms of implementing these strategies and winning over an audience and getting that trust and that relatability, because ultimately that's what this is. You want to get people feeling you want to relate to people where they say, oh wow, like this company gets me. This person gets me. If you can get them saying that, you're in a great position. And that's how my recent video on TikTok went viral with 1.2 million views. Is I started off addressing a pain point. I started off talking about specific problems that people are going through with their attention span and their dopamine receptors being fried. And I reiterated it for about 1 to 2 minutes to the point where people were commenting how grateful they were for what I was able to provide, because I really related to them, and then I brought them through this hero's journey, the story, and empowered them to inspire them on their journeys, right? Like I made them the hero. So I basically implemented these exact strategies. I practiced what I preach, was able to get 1.2 million views and over almost 20,000 followers, or over 20,000 followers in maybe like 5 days. So pretty remarkable, pretty powerful stuff. But last but not least, what are we getting at here with Steve Jobs, Apple? IBM 1984. This is my favorite marketing example when we look at the overall marketing picture of just things we can learn from and study from in successful bodies of work. So this advertisement, if you have not seen it, after this video, go and search on YouTube Apple IBM 1984 commercial, where Steve Jobs basically and Apple paint IBM as this villain archetype. Right? And that's what this storytelling tool does. And this turn, like what Zak calls the dramatic arc in that study, right? You're creating this dramatic arc, you're creating this story archetype where you have good, you have bad, you have struggle, you have triumph, and ultimately you have you on the other end, the consumer, as the one that's benefiting, the hero. And what he did was he painted IBM as this big brother entity, this George Orwellian 1984 vision of how IBM is preying upon you, watching you, creating this dark future and world through their tech products and all this stuff, where Apple comes in and shatters the glass, ultimately freeing you, helping you become free on your journey, to empower your journey and enlighten you through their products. It's just genius, like absolutely mind-blowing genius. Shout out to Steve Jobs, RIP, the GOAT in my opinion, in terms of sales and marketing. And yeah, that's the example. Go watch that video for yourself. And that's all I have for you guys today about pain point marketing and storytelling, how to get more sales, how to start succeeding on your business, your content. This applies for everything in terms of marketing. And I think just honing in on this idea will allow you to start crushing it practically instantly. If you apply this correctly, you can literally instantly crush it. I kid you not. I believe it was like it took me a week and I got like a million views on one video applying these same things. And my DMs are full. Now my calendar's getting booked. It's very powerful, right? But at the same time, with great power comes great responsibility. I am not using these techniques and this power of my wisdom to exploit people. I am using it to what? Put my customer first. Put the people first, and the people will put you first. I hope this was inspiring. My name is Andreas, aka Andreas Talks. I'm sending you all lots of love, gratitude, and amazing energy. Please like, follow, subscribe to the channel. My first YouTube video. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to service and serve you all. You can go ahead and sign up to my Patreon as well. I just started all of this. I'm really inspired to grow on my journey of impact, move away from doing more higher end marketing consulting with brands. I still am open to doing that if that is something that you're looking for. But ultimately, I feel like there's more of a need for the individual right now to inspire the individual, you guys on the other end, who are holding the key to freedom within your own minds. So, that being said, much love. I'll see you guys next time.